Hi, I'm Mihalakis, and if you're one of the few people that are driving by 22nd and Jackson and White Street in Dubuque, Iowa, wondering what is that big building that's going up out of the ground, well, I'll tell you what it is. This project is called Liberty Recovery Community. It is the first affordable recovery living campus in the state of Iowa where we meld affordable housing and recovery-oriented services of care together, and the services are free for our residents. We're excited about this new project, and I want to talk to you about it today because we're going to couple it with a $1.2 million campaign to help us complete it. We have come a long way. We just need a little bit more to push us over the finish line, and I'm dependent upon you to help us. But this is one of the new and exciting ministries and projects that are coming to the state of Iowa, and I want to talk about it today. Liberty Recovery Community consists of 24 apartments and a recovery and training center right next to it where our residents can go every day. It's going to be a very exciting new concept, a new way to help the epidemic that's facing our nation and our cities across America. I want to talk to you about Operation Empower. That is a nonprofit that is founding this endeavor. And I'll go on and talk about our history somewhat. I want to give you some background information about Operation Empower and our projects. And then I'll go on to talk about Liberty Recovery Community with you. First of all, I want to show you our first project that we did in 2007. It's called Manasseh House Apartments, and it is for single men. It is single room occupancy housing, which means you've got large bedrooms beautifully. It is an absolute beautiful building inside and out. It is safe, affordable, but you have community areas. We're really big in community in Operation Empower. Practically every one of our projects, we look at it from a community standpoint because we're stronger together, folks. But this wonderful project was launched and it helps single men. It's safe, affordable, and it's a sober living facility as well. The next project I want to go to is Salvia Apartments. This was actually opened in 2010 for single women. It's SRO housing as well. For one fee, a very affordable fee, they get everything under one roof, including free laundry. Everything's provided: paper plates, toilet tissue, all utilities, off-street parking, just many, many amenities, and then it's close by everything that you would ever need: banks and grocery stores and food establishments, etc. But we are proud to launch that, and it's helped many, many people. But now we're launching our third endeavor, which I want to talk to you about today, and mentioned is Liberty Recovery. But I want to tell you how it started. To be honest with you, I found a dear friend of mine who passed away from the effects of alcoholism. I literally found her, and it devastated me, and it perplexed me. And I'm a kind of person, if there's a problem, I want to solve it. But this was a very, very big problem. And I was already in the housing arena, but this person I want to tell you that every person that passes away from substance use disorders has an MO. She was a friend, she was a mother, she was a sister, she was a grandmother, she was many things to many people. And not only that, she's probably one of the smartest people that I ever met in my life. So gifted, so talented. The social capitalism we lose in this country every year is staggering. What these folks could have contributed to society and through addiction were snuffed out. So we have a huge problem going on, and I want to talk a little bit about it, but I grieve for her life. I will forever miss her. When I think of all the other people that are lost to substance use disorders, and I think of the families that are negatively impacted by it, it's just mind-boggling. And I said to God, this is a true story, I said to the Lord one day in prayer, I said, God, you've just got to help me find a way to help these people. And what started, then it began to morph in my brain. But I want to show you the sad reality while we're on this subject. The sad reality is that approximately 200 people die every day in the U.S. from drug overdoses, and I think many are not reported. The Dubuque Drug Task Force reported 145 opioid overdoses But what about what about alcohol? What about prescription drugs? What about meth? What about cocaine? Those aren't included. This is just strictly opioids. And that was between 2012 and 2017. Now in 2018, we lost more than 67,300 Americans who died from overdoses as well. That's more than the population of the city of Dubuque. Let's just say that a tornado came and killed every person in Dubuque. That would be talked about for years. But every day, one by one by one by one, it's almost like a hidden disease. And you know who sits alone in their homes and deals with the aftermath are the families, friends, and loved ones of these people. You think of 67,000 people, that's more people that died in the Vietnam War, who I lost a brother, the Afghanistan War and the Iraq War combined. That's been happening for years, folks. We've got a huge problem, and it's not getting better. And recent statistics show that 85% of individuals relapse and return to drug use within 1 year of coming out of treatment, following treatment. So to think that we can prevent people from dying and ruining their lives, I think we can. Our goal is to transform lives and to give them a brand new future and a new hope and a new way of living. There have been very few new solutions to come to the forefront to solve this epidemic. It's pretty much, I think, all over the world, but America's got a big problem on their hands. I say that there are a lot of partial solutions, but we still have a big gap that we have to fill. And that's what I'm hoping Liberty Recovery Community can do for the state of Iowa and beyond. Many people who have substance use disorders also have co-occurring disorders, which means they have brain health issues, behavioral health issues, and a lot of times those are caused by substance abuse. So this is more than just substance. And many more families are impacted by brain health issues also. The usual means of treating or solving the issue, and let me just say they are all needed. We are all stronger together. We're all a part of trying to solve this dilemma with substance use disorders in America, but we still have gaps that we need to fill in the recovery arena. Let's talk about detox. Detox needed 3 days in the hospital. Anyone that comes to that level absolutely has to have help, and many can die if they don't have it. So it's very necessary. Treatment. Many times beds are not available. There are times that people don't have the money, and then they have to go back to where they came from and they don't have the support. Treatment many times between 7 to 28 days. There are few that are longer, but it's a very short span of time. And we find that, even in treatment, that many will will relapse within 1 year. But I can say that treatment is necessary. Everything is necessary. Every social service agency that helps anyone with a substance use disorder is a very needed entity. So when people get out of treatment, let me explain something. They usually have poor landlord histories, poor employment histories, poor health histories, severed relationship ties they have, and then some have criminal backgrounds. So where do they go after they leave treatment if they can get it? Where do they go? Many times they return to the old friends and places that help promote a lifestyle of dependency on substances. After they leave treatment, if they can have access to other services, they will attend outpatients for several hours a week. But what do they, and it's necessary, but where do they go the other 160 hours a week? Where do they go? What about meetings, AA, NHA? And they're needed. They attend them for several hours a week, but many don't attend them at all. What do they do the rest of the week, folks? Same problem. Where do we fill this gap? The point I'm trying to make is all these services are needed, but they're out in the community and they occupy a small piece of time, and they're all needed. At Liberty Recovery Community, it's a little different. We're with them practically 24/7. Why? Because we live with them. And when you live with people, you get to know their problems. You really get immersed in them. And I think you're at a position where I think you can help them figure out their lives and how to really obtain sobriety on a higher level. Substance use disorders are not going away. With COVID, it's even worse because of the isolation. They are on the increase because of COVID. In Iowa alone, because of the cost of running treatment centers and the lack of funding for them, we've had 2 treatment facilities closed in the state of Iowa. To an already what can I say? There's not enough treatment centers in Iowa. There's not enough, but we lost 2 of them, folks. So that was quite a loss. Almost everyone, and the reason why the centers close is because they didn't have enough money. And whenever you help folks, it requires money. No matter how you look at it, it requires money. Almost everyone knows someone affected by substance use disorders. Almost everyone knows someone that has a child, has experienced a loss, a death, a parent that's just practically tearing their hair out with a child. They just don't know what to do. They don't want to kick them out the door because they worry about them, but then if they keep them and allow them to go on, then they think, well, there's no accountability. So they're really caught betwixt a real problem that's difficult to solve. And at Liberty, we're trying to offer a solution. That's what we're trying to do. And our solution to try to fill the gap is Liberty Recovery Community. I believe that we have found another way to help people that are struggling with substance use disorder. I call it our miracle project for a lot of reasons. But when I said, God, you have to help me find a way, then that vision began to morph in my spirit. And the concept of Liberty Recovery Community began to be birthed. It is the first affordable recovery campus in the state of Iowa. In our project, if residents need to stay 3 years, then they can stay 3 years. Now we know detox, inpatient, outpatient, sober living, it's all needed. All those services are needed, but still it's not enough. We need to keep reaching, we need to keep trying. What we promote at Liberty is a sober lifestyle, a lifestyle where they come and they live with us. It's a new way of living in a therapeutic environment with their peers. Our goal is to lessen their triggers, have a joy-filled environment where they feel comfortable, they feel safe. They don't have to be fearful anymore. They don't have to wonder, how am I going to pay my utility bill? You know, what happens if I lose my job? What happens if I can't get to an appointment? All of those can be triggers for these folks, and we want to lessen them. We just want to help them. We want to fill the gaps in their lives. You know, people need a community like bees need a hive. We are stronger together. We need one another. It's not good that anyone is alone, especially when you've got substance use disorders. And what is a community? A community is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Well, at Liberty, we're all going to share the same interests, which is everybody wants to stay sober, wants to rise and be empowered, wants to find healing and wholeness, and wants to find purpose in a brand new way of living. And that's our hope at Liberty Recovery Community. Each individual is part of the community, and their common obligations include cooperation, respect, and participation. Peer support is very important to people in recovery. They love to spend time with their peers. You know why? Because they feel probably more comfortable with them than just about anybody. Sobriety is not the only goal at Liberty Recovery Community. I want them to find purpose, healing, and learn to give and to reach other people. That's the apex. That's the home run, folks. When you can transform their lives and they go out and reach other people. And there are people in my life that I help do that. And there's such a feeling of joy I can't even begin to tell you. But I called this our miracle project for a number of reasons. Number one, when I went after funding, they said, this was probably been early in 2018, it says, the man at the state said, well, we don't look for it. We heard that it wasn't going to be available. Guess what? It was available. We overcome that hurdle. Number two, the property, I looked all over Dubuque, couldn't find property anywhere. Looked all over Dubuque, and the property I wanted was leased. And the man said, I don't want to sell it. So I said, can I bring people through to show it to him? And he said, yeah. The idea, the word no, never entered my head. All I knew is I had to keep moving forward. The next was our architect. I brought 5 architects to the project that the man said he didn't want to sell his building. And the last one who come through, all of them said, I got to wait 5 weeks. We couldn't wait 5 weeks. The last one said, I'll tell you what, Michelle, I'll give you a beautiful rendering like this. I'll do probable costs. And if you don't get funded, I won't charge you anything. I thought, that's my miracle man. That's the man of the hour. And that's the man who drew my building. So the next thing I needed was a business plan. But I had to do a business plan while I wrote a huge application. I can't tell you how stressful those days were. I had to have $100,000 in 12 days. My first phone call, I called a wonderful giving man who gave me $25,000 over the phone, committed to $25,000. I got all choked up, I really did. But within that time frame, we got $120,000. Now that's miraculous. Finally, the owner agreed to sell to us. That's another miracle. And then planning and zoning called me one day and he said, you're not going to believe this, Michelle. I'm going to give you a gift. I said, well, I could use one about right now. And he said, I want to tell you that property is zoned properly. And if you've ever been through a NIMBY, not in my backyard like I was, you realize, whew, and especially with a project like ours. Next, we competed for $2.7 million with other organizations. It was a competitive round, and we won the award. But guess what? We needed more money, so we needed another miracle. And that was we needed $300,000 to complete the cost of building the building. And through local, through county and city fundings, we received the $300,000 that we needed. So I want to show you Liberty Recovery Community Campus. I want to show you first Liberty Place Apartments. Really our campus consists of 2 buildings, Liberty Place Apartments, and then it also consists of a vacant bank that's going to be called Liberty Recovery and Training Center. But first, the apartment building has 24 apartments. They're small, they're 1-person apartments. They're permanent, which means if you have to stay a long time, you can. They're beautiful. All is ceramic tile, they're just gorgeous. We pay all the utilities, and you come in and you pay one very affordable price. And the second was the training center, which I talked about. But I'm going to look at these apartments in more detail. Like I said, they're right next to the training center. We plan on opening up in 2021. They're affordable, coin ops on site, beautiful 24 one-bedroom apartments where they can live with their peers. Now I'll show you the layout. The layout is, they're basically rectangular. You walk into the door and you have an 8-foot kitchenette, and then you have a combined living room, dining room. You go through a hallway where we'll probably put a chest of drawers pretty wide. And in the back it has a closet, which is not shown right now, and room for a single bed and a nightstand. And then we have a full-size bathroom. And really, that's really all you need. And then we're going to try to furnish them with the help of folks like you, because I think it'd be great if they go in there and it's just all provided. It's difficult for them to get out of treatment or places like that and try to accrue furniture. So if you know of anyone that'd help us out with that, somebody that sells furniture, please get a hold of me. Now I'll show you the construction progress photos. To the left is a bank building that we bought on 3/4 of an acre, perfect size, lots of parking. What a find, what a find. We began that project, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, after we did the demo in the fall of 2019, we put it to bed for the winter. We thought we'd save money by starting in the spring, and we demolished the drive-through bank part of the bank. And then if you look below on the right hand, we're presently in phase 1 of building the apartment building, and you're seeing it go up. I just talked to the bricklayer a couple minutes ago. He said, you know, within the next week we should be done putting the brick on the building. We've got the roof on, we're drywalling inside, we're just a booking to get this thing completed to open up in the spring of 21. Next I want to show you is a community campus. There's a photo of the original bank building. That bank building won an architectural award, very futuristic looking, progressive, has glass walls inside, 4,400 square feet. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful building, but it needs to be rehab, folks. This is where they go daily for services. But we're going to need help with that. We need code updates. We need a new parking lot. We need a new roof. We need infill. We need some demo. We need a new ADA bathroom. We need electrical. We need new mechanicals. We need new floors, tuck pointing, on and on. But that's part of our capital campaign, and that's where you come in to help us, we're hoping, from this viewing today. The next thing I want to talk about is the services that we're going to offer. We are going to offer groups, financial planning, we'll have education classes, we'll have employment and education assistance. It's important they go to school, it's important that they work when they can. We'll also have therapy, writing therapy, art therapy. We'll have support services, we'll have social functions. We're going to try to provide transportation. Everything, wraparound care that's all recovery related. That's what we're going to try to do. And so here's the Recovery and Training Center. If you do a bird's eye view, this is what inside, you have to really take a good look at it, but it's got everything from community rooms, education, groups, everything we need in that beautiful, beautiful building. And also, one other thing we're going to do is we're going to work with their families. I think that's very, very important. We'll have classes and groups for them as well, because we want to bring all the family together. Really, a lot of the problem a lot of times begins, the core of it begins in the family, and so we want to be involved. And the next is a $1.2 million capital campaign that I want to talk to you about. Operation Empower is the nonprofit that is doing this, and our motto is transforming lives. That is what we want to do. If you can't change lives, then I believe you shouldn't be in this business. That means more to me than any home run I'd ever hit, every nickel I'd ever make. To me, it's the apex of life. It's helping other people. So I already told you we need to remodel and update. We also need to provide staffing to aid those in recovery. No gift is too small. All donations are tax deductible. You can make a difference, my folks. We need you. And then there's also, matter of fact, we can't do it without you. Regardless of the amount, we are thankful. But I want to show you ways in which you can give. There's not a greater feeling of joy, folks, than when you give. And when you have people dying every day from this, in every city practically across Iowa, the annual deaths are just, they're terrible is what they are. And my goal, and to Phil before I die, is I want to see where it's very difficult to get drugs or alcohol in Iowa. That's a goal of mine. We've got a big vision for Iowa when it comes to the recovery arena, and we're stronger together again, folks. We need your help, and I'll show you ways in which you can give. Okay, ways in which you can give. You can send a check to Operation Empower, 2080 Elm Street, Suite 103, Dubuque, Iowa, 52001. Also, you can go to our website, check it out, check the different things we have going on. We're adding to it all the time. It's www.operationempower.org, and you can find a place for donation. You can go on there and find PayPal under Manasseh House /Operation Empower. You can watch our progress on Facebook, Manasseh House Operation Empower. Or you can call me, Michelle, at 563-599-2980. You know, I remember a lady come up to me one day and she said at the supermarket, said, Michelle, if your place would have been open, she said, my daughter might not have died. That's not the first time I have ever heard that. Sometimes I'll tell people about our project and they'll actually get choked up, and I said, it was affected by you, wasn't it? And they said, yes, it was. So you know how heartbreaking it is to hear those words? It's devastating. So I want to talk to you about another way you can give, and that is leaving a legacy for your family, for yourself. If you would like to put your name on a room, on a building, you can do so for a certain amount of money. In our recovery center, if you want to put your name, your family name across our recovery center, it would cost you $500,000. Now that's a lot of money, isn't it? But for some folks, it's not a lot of money. I don't know who you are and who you are out there, but I pray that God puts it on your heart to give, because we need your help. You can't launch something this big without an entire state helping you, and we need your help. What about Liberty Place Apartments? Putting your name on that, $250,000. The Recovery and Training Center has rooms from $25,000 to $50,000. Or what about on every apartment? We already had a guy that's bought one to put a plaque outside an apartment door for $10,000. What a joy to know that you have been a part of this wonderful, new, exciting endeavor that is going to change the landscape of recovery in Iowa. I really believe that. And how much to help a person in need. If everyone helps out, I believe the good Lord is going to bless you for giving and us for receiving it and helping them. We've got to have the help, folks. We just got to have it. There again, everyone can help. No dollar amount will be turned away. You can also partner with us monthly for $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, where it's not so hard on your budget. But then there also may be some that can give $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. You know, I know some that give $30,000. We welcome your giving. I really pray that you consider it, and I'm going to be praying that God will move upon your heart. I really will. All of our services are free, and when people get out of treatment, guess what? They usually have no money. There's no way they could afford, if we had to have Medicare involved with this and services, and that they had to pay for their own services. It's impossible. Operation Empower has a large vision for the state of Iowa and beyond. We can do this with your help. God moves, but he moves through people. And you can be one of those wonderful people that can help our project out, that can make a difference in someone's lives. Give, you know, and we'll send you letters of people's lives that are transformed. You hear the testimonies, they just grip your heart and they make you feel so good that you would care. You'd care enough to not look at yourself, but look at other people. Whatever you do is temporal in this earth, and whatever you do for someone else is eternal. How about an eternal reward that's greater than putting your money in any bank? Now, I know we all need money. I know that. But I'm asking you today to look on your screen and to find a way to give. And I'll show you how you can give again. You can send it to 2080 Elm, Operation Empower, 2080 Elm, Suite 103, Dubuque, Iowa, 52001. You can go to our website, operationempower.org. You can go on our website and go to PayPal. You can even call my number at 563-599-2980. I'd be happy to send you financials. I would happy to do a presentation. I would be happy to do a tour, that I would allow you to tour our facility and just see how wonderful of a project of what we're doing here, and just really how miraculous it is. When I think of where we started and where we're headed, and I get excited when I look at the drywall go up and the brick's going to be completed soon, and I think about all the wonderful people out there that gave to us to make it possible. If any one of them wouldn't have gave, it would not be possible. I say lay it on your heart and think about it, folks. Please help someone else. Please give, I asked you.